Hey guys, my name is Pawan and I welcome you all towards my YouTube channel. So guys, today we are going to discuss on one of the most important concepts about how to ace Christ University interview about self-introduction. See guys, self-introduction is one of the most powerful tool in an interview where a candidate can prove himself that he is worthy for that particular post or worthy for that particular university. Guys, whenever I conduct mock interviews, I normally observe that students make a lot of mistakes in self-introduction. As such, this can lose their impression towards the interviewer. So today in this video, I've bifurcated into 4 parts. Firstly, I'll be telling you about importance of self-introduction and what are the hacks you're supposed to follow. Secondly, I'll be telling you on how you're supposed to prepare. Thirdly, I'll be giving you a format which you can opt for. And lastly, I'll be giving you a sample of myself introducing about the important concepts of self-introduction. So guys, if you have not watched my previous video about how to ace common interview based questions or how to ace campus based questions of Christ University, please do give a watch. I've put the link in the description box. As such, it can help you a lot with your preparation. So guys, now let's get started without any further delay. So guys, now let's discuss upon the 12 tips which you're supposed to remember while preparing for any kind of self-introduction. The first one being the first impression is the best impression. So I kindly urge the students to have a solid background preparation with your self-introduction because that matters a lot. Firstly, this is the concept you're going to speak with the interviewer, and normally in any kind of interview you go, the first question which they're going to ask is that, tell me something about yourself. At that time, self-introduction matters a lot. Guys, trust me, I got feedback from many students of their session 1 and session 2, and I could observe that most of the interviewers didn't allow them to speak on to the further question after self-introduction, or they didn't get even a chance to speak for micro presentation. At that time, they normally judge in your self-introduction. So if your self-introduction is very impressive, then the interviewers can ask more questions to you because they feel that this candidate is a right student for our college or for our university. So make sure that you have a very well structured, prepared self-introduction, and don't worry, in the further slides I'll be explaining you on what are the formats you're supposed to follow while preparing for the self-introduction. The second point is be as flexible as possible. See guys, I can share you the format, but you can make up the changes as you like, and as per your changes and as per your convenience you can get opt towards it. Third important tip which I would like to share you is that it's self-introduction and not a family introduction. See guys, while you're preparing for your self-introduction, it's not required to mention about your family background, and try avoiding it. In case if the interviewer is asking you in specific, at that time you can mention, or else please do avoid it. The fourth important tip is don't by heart the self-introduction. When you by heart, what happens is that it becomes a presentation through an artificial way of presenting. So make sure that you present it through a natural way, and how you're going to do it, make us pointers and then you prepare it. And then try telling out your self-introduction in terms of mirror, or try talking to your friends, neighbors, or anyone, whoever you meet. Try asking for feedbacks and then you evolve based on collecting the feedbacks. So it's very important. Try not to by heart it, but presenting it through a form of natural way. The fifth important tip which I would like to highlight over here is that about the body language is very much essential. Guys, kindly maintain a very well structured body language while presenting it. Okay, it can be even upon to the dress which you're wearing, make it as formal, and while you're presenting it, even the hand movement, please don't have an excessive hand movements. Reduce it, have a constant balanced hand movement. As such, this can also create a huge amount of impact while we interviewers judging you. Sixth important tip is about facial expression and eye contacts are very important. Your facial expression and eye contact shows us that whether you're confident or not. Guys, whenever I conduct mock interviews, I find some students having a very wrong direction of eye contact. They just normally look top or very down. So make sure that you look into the screen. That is very important in terms of eye contact. Facial expression, you can smile, but don't smile so much, or don't be very in angry mode or angry tone. So make sure that you have a balanced approach. The seventh important tip is mentioning about the hobbies. It's not very much important in case if you have more of your strength and achievements. So kindly try avoiding it. As such, I think that would be much more better and flexible. So guys, the eighth important tip is focus on your strength, award, rewards, etc. Guys, as most of you know that while you guys filling up the form, there was a separate section which have been asked about your achievements, extracurricular activities, etc. So we being interviewers, we have all the draft content of your information. Now what is very much important is that you have to prove that you're worthy for this course. So try focusing on your strength, your award, rewards, because that matters a lot and that can impress us. The next important point is focus on your expertise area of interest. If you are much more interested in public speaking, debating and all other factors, do mention it. And this can actually increase the grading of your performance. The 10th important point is emphasis on action words like achieved, accomplished, awarded, rewarded, leaded, etc. While you use these unique words, this makes you different from other candidates. While they normally use the general words, while you using different words and while you impress us, that can create a very much huge impact. And the 11th important point is look on to the expectations of the university. It's very important that you have to find out what does that university or that particular course demands from you, what kind of quality and skills that it is basically looking from you. So kindly look into the expertise and areas which the university as well as the course is demanding from you, and you can speak out on those factors. And don't worry, all this will be much more condensed in the next upcoming slides. I'll be telling you on how you're supposed to focus. And the 12th important point is write down your self-introduction and practice. So make sure that you write down your self-introduction, make it as pointers, and then have constant practice. And as I said earlier, please don't make it as paragraph. Make sure that you write it down. When you write it down, what happens, it subconsciously get registered in your brain. So once after preparing a good format structure, kindly write it down and then you can practice and prepare. As such, it can help you a lot. So guys, these are the most important famous 12 important tips which you are supposed to follow while you're preparing for your self-introduction. So guys, now let's discuss into the 4 important steps which you're supposed to practice while preparing for your self-introduction. The first one being mirror work. Guys, immediately your self-introduction is prepared, go directly in front of the mirror and then try speaking it out. The more number of time you practice in front of the mirror, your confidence level will be boosted. Secondly, you can have a small amount of self-introspection. You can see what is your facial expression, how is your eye contact. So all this could be judged only through a proper mirror work practice. Guys, regardless if you go to any public speaker or any kind of great philosophers, the first important tip which they normally suggest is to practice in front of the mirror. The more number of time you practice in front of the mirror, it can help you to overcome your weakness. So even the positive affirmations, if you're facing fearness before starting or before participating in an interview, it's very important that you look into the mirror and self-positive affirmations. What you tell before the interview matters a lot. So make sure that you be very calm, very compassionate and tell positive affirmations that you can do it. The more number of time you being positive and optimistic before the interview or the 15 minutes once you communicate this to your body, what happens is that your entire interview process is going to be well. But if in case the 15 minutes, if you're being very much scared, if you feel that you're going to mess it up, then trust me, you're going to mess it up at any point of time. So make sure that the mirror work practice is very important by telling positive affirmations, by communicating as well as by speaking in front of the mirror. All your weakness could be challenging out and it can be completely wiped out. The second important tip which I would like to share is that say it loudly and practice. Immediately your self-introduction is prepared. Firstly, you're going to practice in front of the mirror. Speak it out loudly, guys. The more amount of time you practice, it increases your immunity of being very much confident as well as being very much having a spectacular performance while the real interview happens. So guys, immediately your self-introduction is done, you can also go into the other external factors like take support. Take support by speaking out your self-introduction towards your friends, neighbors, or whoever, teachers, whoever support, who are feeling as comfortable. Speak out to them and ask their feedback. So there's a normal trend as there's a normal learning which happens. It's only through evolving and learning from the feedback. So that is the best way which you can opt for. The third important tip is visualizing technique and practicing. That matters a lot. So while you're presenting your self-introduction, visualize there is an other person listening upon it. Visualize that there is an interviewer to your next side and then you practice, because that will also give you a sense of confidence as well as a sense of boosting understanding of what well prepared you are. The fourth important tip is record your video and audio. The more number of time you record your video and audio while presenting, that will basically show a sum of self-introspection on where you can correct, and just write down all the mistakes in a separate book. And as the days you practice, the mistakes and the weakness will be reducing it. So make sure that you record your audio and video, and this is the normal tip which I normally tell for my students. while their mock interview happens. So make sure that you to opt for this, as such you can be very well efficient while preparing as well as while presenting for the real interview. So guys, now let's discuss onto the format on how you're supposed to prepare for the self-introduction. The first one being greetings. You can greet your faculty members, whoever come, whether it is sir or ma'am. And if it is more than 2 faculty, you can greet them as good morning teachers. And then you're supposed to thank them. So how are you going to thank them? You can tell that, thank you for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself. Or else you can also use it as, thank you for providing me this wonderful opportunity to introduce myself. And immediately after that, you're supposed to tell out your name and place. Guys, you're supposed to tell your name only if the interviewer has not called out your name at the first beginning of the interview, or else the interviewer may feel that this particular candidate has already by-hearted his self-introduction. So make sure that in case if the interviewer has already said your name before, then do not try to introduce it once again. If not, kindly introduce. My name is Pawan. I've just written a small example of my own name to make sure that you get a good example. And then tell out from which place you're coming from. And I've written as I am from Bangalore. You can fill out your details in the blank, and then you're supposed to focus onto the qualification. So if you are presently studying in the 12th grade, you're supposed to tell that I am currently studying in 12th grade from dash, whichever college you are from. And if you have completed your 12th grade, then you can mention that I completed my 12th grade from dash. So for example, I have written my own example as I completed my 12th grade from Christ PU College. And then I have consistently been in the top 5% of my class. Guys, it's a very good impression that if you put out this statement. And normal questions which I get from students is that, see, in that 10th grade they might have got 90, and in the 11th grade they might have got 70 or 80. So sometimes the interviewer may ask on why have you got less mark in your 11th grade. So a good answer which you can normally tell it out is that, sir, if that question was asked to me, I would have been said that, sir, I didn't know how to balance my academics as well as my extracurricular activities in my 11th grade. But as the days passed on, I realized on how to manage and have a proper time management skills. And by the help of my faculties and my peer group, I learned that art as such. In my 12th grade, I was able to do very well. As such, I've been in the top consistently in the 5% of my class. See guys, so you can mention in those per aspects. As such, there wouldn't be any kind of cross questions. So as such, I've mentioned it over there, I have consistently been in the top 5% of my class. So if in case you are from PG students who are applying for the course, then you're supposed to tell that I completed my graduation from Christ University, regardless of whichever university you're coming from. If you're from the same university, you can mention the Christ University, or else you can also mention whichever university you're coming from. You can fill up the blanks, and then I've consistently been in the top 5% of my class. So guys, after education qualification, what matters more is about the achievements. Guys, trust me, this is a place which makes you being unique comparing to other candidates. And here you're supposed to prove us that you are the right candidate fit for a particular kind of university by mentioning us about your activities. And this basically impresses us. So for example, if you're a PG student and who have done many kind of research work and paper presentation, then you can mention as I won first prize 2 times in the paper presentation at dash at whichever university. If you have completed that, you can mention it over here. And then if you are from 11th or 12th grade, then you can mention that I have secured first prize in the debating competition at dash, whichever college, and then for the intercollegiate fest at dash. I've just written my own example as I've secured the first prize in the debating competition at Christ PU College for the intercollegiate fest at Alistair. So depending upon your college, depending upon the fest which you participated or the events, you can be flexible enough for changing up to the format which I've given it to you. And then at last, it's good that you mention upon your skills, and I feel that that is a little more interesting and engaging. So you can mention it as I'm having proficient knowledge in public speaking, debating, etc. So whatever comes as your skill, you can mention it over there. And next comes about the project work and experience. Guys, I normally see even the presently 12th grade students are also involving in different kind of project works and internships. So it's very good that you mention about your project work and experience. So you being student, you can mention that I have done my project work on dash at dash, whichever place. And if you have done your internship, then you can mention as I have done my internship at dash, whichever university or whichever institution it is, you can mention it over there. I've just written for an example as I've done my internship at Manipal Institute of Computer Education. And next comes about the strengths. Guys, strength is very important, and make sure that whenever you're speaking about your strength, you align it with the course requirement. If your course is basically demanding on that particular kind of skills, then you can mention upon that. For example, I've just written it as I have strong technical skills in dash, whichever field. Or else you can also mention it as I am self-motivated and have a zeal for learning new skills. Guys, kindly mention your strengths, and this makes us feel, we being interviewers, to gauge on you as well as to get a little more impressed by your strengths. So rather than mentioning our hobbies, as I said earlier, it's good that you mention on your strengths. Got it? And while speaking on your strength, have little more confidence in your voice. That can also basically impress us, we being interviewers. So guys, that's the first set of 6 important factors which you're supposed to keep into your draft. 7th and 8th important factor which you can add on to your self-introduction is about the ambition and final greeting. So when I speak about ambition, it is that very important you prove is that you're much more ambitious and you're much more passionate. So I've written over here as my ambition is to become an IAS officer. So if you're interested in becoming a part of corporate lawyer, you can even mention as that and give a small description about it. Guys, over here, I would like to give a small tip that, for example, if you're opting for any kind of course like law, BCom, regardless, whatever course you've been opting for, select a field of your ambition from that particular course or from that particular kind of field of your course aligning towards it. See, for example, if you're opting from a BCom course, and then you should never mention that you want to become a singer or a dancer. I totally appreciate that you can go ahead with it, but normally in a self-introduction, we don't mention it because the interviewers may feel that this particular candidate is not aligned towards his goal or not aligned to the course which he is basically opting for. So guys, it's normally advised that you basically align towards the course, whichever field or ambition you have been trying to pursue. The next important factors, for example, a final greeting which you would like to give is that you can mention as thank you, that's all from my side, or you can also mention that that's all from me, thank you. So guys, these are the 8 important points which you're supposed to keep in the mind while preparing for your self-introduction. These tips are much more researched from different scholarly books as well as from different faculty members and different kind of authors. So make sure that you try to opt these factors in your self-introduction, and you can be as flexible as possible. You can make as many changes as possible and have constant practice. Then it is going to be the best self-introduction that you're going to present. Guys, now I shall read out a small sample on how you're supposed to prepare for the self-introduction, which have been opted from the format which have been already shown you. So guys, now if I was a candidate, I would have been said the following for my self-introduction. Good morning, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Pawan SS. I'm from Bangalore. I completed my 12th grade from Christ PU College and have consistently been in the top 5% of my class. I have secured first prize in the debating competition at Christ PU College for the Intercollegiate Fest at Alistair. I have also proficient knowledge in the public speaking and debating, etc. I have done my internship at the Manipal Institute of Computer Education. I am self-motivated and have a zeal for learning new skills. My ambition is to become an IAS officer because I strongly feel it is essential for me to equip the skills of understanding on how the constitution, governance, policy making, as such it has mainly motivated me to enroll in this course. That's all from me. Thank you. So guys, this is the self-introduction. For example, if you're applying for a law course, this is the same format which have been opted for to give you an overall viewpoint as well as a small format of an example. So guys, that's all for today. So if you do like this video, please do like it, share it and subscribe. And if you have any doubt, you can come in touch with me. My Insta ID is pawan.ss and my email ID is pawanss102@gmail.com. I'll be putting the same in the description box. If you want any kind of help, even if you want mock interviews which you want to participate, which I'm conducting, then I'm also ready to help you guys. At any stage, if you have any doubt, kindly get in touch with me and do your level best. Guys, trust yourself, believe yourself, and you can create wonders. So all these factors are not just going to be an external factors to disturb you. You are above all. So make sure that you be very much confident while preparing for your self-introduction. So wish you a wonderful day. Goodbye.